On a breezy and humid day in North Florida, the AUDL's hottest rivalry takes the stage as the Raleigh Flyers travel here to Jacksonville to take on the Cannons for the first time this season. Both teams made some important off-season roster additions. Both teams are big and physical. It may only be week 3, but Jacksonville head coach Tuba Benson calls today's game a must-win. The Cannons versus the Flyers, coming up next, live from Hodges Field in Jacksonville on AUDL Extra. Welcome to Hodges Field at the Bulls School here in Jacksonville, Florida, for this game between the Raleigh Flyers and the Jacksonville Cannons. This is the AUDL Extra presentation presented by Ultiworld. We are getting set for opening lineups, so we will listen in as the Jacksonville Cannons and Raleigh Flyers get introduced.
Number 8, Terrence Mitchell. Number 20, Jacob Fairfax. Number 22, Ryan Casey. Number 24, Noah Saul. And number 79, Matt Bode. And for your Jacksonville Cannons, as the Flyers are coached by Mike Gennardis, assisted by David Allison, please welcome your Jacksonville Cannons. The starting 7 on offense for your Cannons. Number 9, Bobby Lay. Number 11, Michel Freystetter. Number 12, Travis Gutrin. Number 14, Cole Sullivan. Number 22, Jeremy Langdon. Number 30, Andrew McKelvey. And number 87, Michael Hickson. Starting 7 on defense for Jacksonville. Number 1, Andrew Roney. Number 4, Bradley Sunchins. Number 8, Tyler Kunza. Number 18, Chris LaRock. Number 39, Jordan Houston. Number 44, Jakeem Jot. Sports Center Gold. Number 75, Ryan Chard. The Cannons are coached by Tuba Benson, assisted by Beth Fabrica and Brandon Perales. And now, please rise for the singing of our national anthem by Chef Dan. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly gleaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does the
So as we get set for game time here, I want to welcome you to the Bowl School in Jacksonville. I'm Charlie Eisenhood, joined by Scott Manzi. We're here to bring you this game between the Raleigh Flyers and the Jacksonville Cannons. Scott, this is one of the hottest rivalries in the league, and it's their first time meeting this season. We know these teams have a big history. They played 7 times over the last 2 seasons, and really, there have been a lot of amazing games, some overtime finishes. What do we know about this rivalry?
Well, it generally comes down to the wire. That's what we know. So if you came here expecting a close finish, well, that's most likely what you're going to get. Also, you pointed out prior to this, a little bit misleading in the numbers because you sit there and say, oh, well, Raleigh's dominated this as of late. Actually, the home team has dominated this as of late, as every team at home has won the last 7 meetings, and tonight that'll be the Cannons. So will that be an advantage for them?
Yeah, it's something we'll have to watch for. It's each team really has held down that home field advantage. Each team has 1 win on the road, but they've played so many games here in Raleigh that they end up with the 5-2 advantage in wins. But, you know, we know these teams have a lot of history. You look at just some of the results. 5 of the 7 games decided by 2 points or fewer. 3 decided by just 1 point, and they've had 2 double overtime games. We expect more fireworks here today as the teams send their 7 to the line as we get ready to get started here in this one.
As far as teams are concerned playing at home, last year went undefeated, both of those road wins coming back in 2015. And 2 teams a little bit different to start this year. Raleigh's played quite a few games. This will be game number 4 for the Flyers already this season, whereas the Cannons opened up with a dominant win at home 2 weeks ago and then had an early bye week. So will there be some rust for the Jacksonville Cannons? Will Raleigh, having had some success on the road already this season, be able to continue that here on the road again here tonight? I guess we'll have to wait and find out.
See that Jacksonville will be starting the game here on defense. And we are all set to begin things here. Great matchup coming your way. We'll talk more about the teams and the makeup of these teams and some of the changes to their rosters. Players moving back and forth between these teams over the past couple of years. And that will probably have an impact here today. Just some big notes right off the top. Raleigh down a few of their key players. Main O-line handler John Nethercutt not here today. Hunter Taylor, probably their top defender, also not in the lineup. So they're going to be maybe at a disadvantage. It was pretty windy earlier. The wind has died down, but we are now underway. So now they'll let the play do the talking. Raleigh begins here on offense. And it's an offense that likes to get flowing early and often. See Jonathan Goose Helton, one of the new additions to this Flyers team, come underneath. Now they're going up the sideline. Jacob Fairfax, key player to watch for them.
A goal-scoring leader coming into this game with 8 on the year thus far for Raleigh. Balanced attack Raleigh does.
You can see they use the whole field here. Working with Helton. Stahl getting high. He gets rid of it to Matt Bode. Bode, a former Cannon, and his throw is a turnover. So Jacksonville will get a early look at a break here.
Let's go, Cannons. Let's go.
They've been a little reckless with the disc, have Raleigh, over the last couple of seasons as well. So have to watch the turnover numbers here for them in this one.
Jacksonville's D-line off to a good start here, now at midfield. Forced to take a difficult reset, looking for Tyler Kuntza.
Wow.
And Kuntza with a big layout to save possession.
That's huge. I mean, you're already in an advantage situation trying to score after the turnover, and then you don't want to turn it over in that part of the field.
Saw Jakeem Polk with it, and he throws away a turnover. Trying a backhand to the forehand side. Didn't work out for him, so Raleigh takes it back. Polk, a big addition to this Jacksonville team. We'll talk about him on some defensive plays later to be sure.
Yeah, no, despite that early turnover from Polk, watch number 44 tonight. Already a SportsCenter top 10 type of player.
Big shot from Fairfax, looking to the end zone, and he's got his man, Matt Bode, with it for the score. Raleigh's on the board here early,
Flyers strike first.
and they get the hold.
Into the end zone. Flyers 1.
Nice start for the Flyers. That's exactly what they were looking for. Despite the early turnover, able to bounce back, get the disc back, and then, boy, this is just a nice long pass. The defense was there. You got to give credit. Strong hands there for Bode to finish.
So strong start for Raleigh. get back the disc after the turnover. But I have to say, Jacksonville looked pretty good on that possession. And one of the things that we're going to be watching from them, not only in this game but this entire season, how does their D-line offense do this year? They have some big additions to that line. Tyler Kunza, Chris LaRock, another big name, and a big thrower for them. They really lacked disc skills on the defensive line last year. So we'll see what they can do here as they have really begun their season with a pretty easy win against Nashville. Now they've got a much tougher opponent here against the Flyers.
Bode, former Cannon, able to stick it to his old team 2 years ago, a member of the Jacksonville Cannons.
Now we get a look at this formidable Jacksonville offense as they march it right up the far sideline.
You mentioned how they did not play a opponent of this caliber in Nashville in their first game, but 40 goals, I mean, that's something that is extremely impressive regardless of who you're taking on. And that's a tough one, trying for the front pylon. Good D there from Raleigh, getting up and knocking that one down. Mike Panone. He's listed as one of the better defenders, the Pittsburgh transplant.
Raleigh goes up the field, and Mike Panone there with the catch.
Doing it all, defense and offense.
Panone again. Looking flick side, and Raleigh into the end zone for the score. So the early break for the Flyers. And to get things going, it's all Raleigh here early.
They have turned defense into offense here in the early going, and Panone, I think, should get a lot of credit. First he denies on one end, and then this nice lead pass to Cisco, who was wide open. Not going to get it too many good looks like that, and the Cannons a little bit flustered here in the early going.
Yeah, and it's going to be limiting mistakes. I mean, earlier it looked like this was going to be a turnover-heavy game. The wind was really ripping, but as soon as the sun went down, we really saw the wind come to a relative halt. It's still a little bit breezy, but earlier today it was 15 or 20 mile per hour winds, but much better offensive conditions now. Taking care of the disc will be a priority.
Cannons, you don't want to sit there and say a possession is any more important than another one, especially this early in the game, but you're down 2-0. Your offense is what everybody's talked about coming into this game. You want to be able to strike back and keep this one close.
Near sideline for Cole Sullivan. Big thrower. Second team All-AUDL last year. See a lot of him touching the disc on this offensive line. Misha Freistatter comes underneath, but he's not open. So the swing goes out to Bobby Lay. Bobby Lay, University of Florida product. He's looking deep. Double coverage. And it's tipped and knocked away. Looking for the call down on the other end is Mike Hickson, and he's not going to get it. So it's going to be Raleigh disc.
Hickson, 6'5", a big guy going down there, and with Freistatter naturally attracting a ton of attention this year after leading the AUDL in goals a season ago. They try to go up top to him, but good defense from Raleigh.
Oh, and it's taken away as that throw floats, and a throw from the ground for the score. And Jacksonville on the board quickly after the nice takeaway.
I would say thus far, defense has been the name of this game. It's been takeaways that have led to offense, and that is a huge one right there. Shaken up a little bit, able to find Hickson dragging to the front corner. You just got to tip your cap to the effort. And Cannons, after trying the long throw, doesn't work out. You could easily hang your head after that saying, man, we've turned it over more than we found success on the offensive end thus far. And to get an immediate answer, that's big time for the Cannons.
So Jacksonville on the board to get their defense back out there. Here's the pull. Pull fielded by Brian Casey, coach of UNC Wilmington.
Go Seahawks.
Jacob Fairfax underneath. Ben Dieter goes up the line, the veteran. He's been playing Ultimate for 16 years.
Wow. That is probably as bad as veteran as they come in this league, I'd imagine.
Goose Helton catches the under, and then he puts one up. Came out of his hand, strange, it tips, and it's not going to be caught on the second effort. Bode tried to chase it down, couldn't get there. So a strange throw there from Helton may have slipped out of his hand.
Yeah, that one really kind of sailed. Gave the Cannons an opportunity to get a couple of guys over there defensively and force a turnover, and we'll see if they can't tie this up now. This would be a big break if they could get it.
Lots of space. Now they take the blade far side.
Keeping stuff close here in the early going. We saw the one long, but as opposed to maybe years past where the Cannons have relied on that long throw a lot, they're trying to use cutters a lot more this year.
That throw tipped out of the hands there. Brian Casey gets a piece of it, and so Raleigh gets it back. Deep cutter streaking and a foul there. 10-yard penalty will be assessed.
Casey might have gotten away with a little bit of a flop there, but certainly some contact.
And a big layout D.
That'll get the crowd involved as well.
Tyler Kunza going to pick up for Jacksonville. So getting some pressure against this Raleigh offense.
Kunza was the one with the turnover a moment ago, so he comes right back out and helps his team get the disc back.
Here's Andrew Roney, Scuber. Polk looking to the end zone, and it's a layout D. Didn't see the poach. And it's another nice play for the young Jacob Fairfax.
Fairfax is just kind of lurking there, right on the goal line, laid out. Yeah, I don't think Polk saw him at all.
Oh, and another huge layout D. What a point. Amazing play there. Stephen Iarardi, and then Roney gets the score.
Sticks, setting him up. Roney able to cash it in, and moments ago, it felt like Raleigh was in complete control here in the early going. Since then, it has been a little back and forth, and 2 straight scored by the Cannons. And again, defense leading to offense. What recognition for Iarardi, flipping that one into the back corner.
So all tied up here. Each team with a break. And we knew it was going to be a good one. We could talk a little bit more about some of these teams. We mentioned it earlier. Matt Bode, now playing for the Flyers, played for the Cannons in 2015, then played for the Charlotte Express, now a defunct team, last year. Jakeem Polk, who played for Charlotte, everybody thought he was going to Raleigh, but no, Jacksonville signs him. So it's been a little bit of an arms race in the AUDL South, particularly between these two teams, as they try to catch up to the Dallas Roughnecks.
Dallas, of course, getting an early season win over Raleigh back in week 2. And sort of the class of the South. But both these teams, they've got their eyes on the prize. And with the Charlotte Express going out, that helped a lot. There was a nice long completion. Shane Cisco getting on the board for the second time tonight.
Cisco into the end zone for the second time tonight.
And a quick strike for Raleigh, getting right back. Felt like momentum had shifted toward the Cannons. Take over after the pull and waste no time. Going deep.
Perfect shot.
Oh, that was beautiful. Cisco sneaking behind the Cannons defense, making them pay. Second goal of the night already for Cisco, and Raleigh right back on front. And here's the back and forth affair we expected with 5.5 left in the opening frame.
And to talk a little bit more about some of the personnel changes, Chris LaRocque played for the Flyers last year, now on the Cannons, an important addition to their defensive line, as we mentioned earlier. Jordan Huston as well made the switch. So lots of history between these teams, and lots of the players know each other. And they say familiarity breeds contempt.
That is very true. And while we don't expect this to get necessarily chippy tonight, both of these teams are going to be maybe leaving a little bit extra out on the line. They want it.
High pass.
Wow, that worked out for Lay.
Nicely weighted out there.
And then a foul also allowing the Cannons to move 10 yards closer.
It's Cole Sullivan holding here, and now some discussion about what the situation. Maybe there's a discussion of whether there's a timeout call and a substitution perhaps for the injury.
A little bit of a disagreement out there as well. Jeff Nordgren in a bit of a discussion with a Cannons player. I'm not seeing the number.
So now they're going to bring Sullivan back. No foul after all. And referees talking about the situation here.
It always makes you wonder in this situation, who does this help out per se? You know, the Cannons were moving down the field slowly but surely, and now they're going to call a turnover, it looks like.
So it must have been a stall or some kind of, I really don't know. They didn't really signal what happened there.
I didn't see any signals, or I might have missed them.
So either way, it's going to be Flyers disc. So what a strange sequence of events there. Looked like it was going to be a foul against Raleigh, and instead it's a turnover that favors Raleigh. They look deep right away, but it's going to be a turnover right away.
And so it ends up right back with the Cannons. Just they had to give up 60 yards or so. I believe they call offensive interference was the official ruling there, but somewhat moot now.
Big huck, but low, and nice defensive play there again.
Wow, that was Misha sliding in late, almost kept possession alive for the Cannons there. That would have been something.
And a foul call on the throw. So 10 yards goes against Raleigh. Jacksonville keeps it. Back with Sullivan.
Disjointed possessions here, to say the least, over the last minute and a half.
Jeremy Langdon, far sideline, had an amazing game last week. Now a hammer to the end zone, and it's caught for the score.
Great job by Sullivan going to the ground to keep it alive.
And that's McKelvey with the score. As we take another look at the hammer.
Sullivan goes sliding to a knee, pops up, goes hammer immediately, and McKelvey, one of a couple of Cannons down there that could have been on the receiving end of that. But the score will go to McKelvey. We're tied again.
Yeah, and that's Cole Sullivan for you.
Mm-hmm. He jack of all trades.
He honed his skills at the University of Florida, playing in a system where he was asked to do a lot. He was asked to go make the big catch, stand up, and make the big throw. He is not afraid to do that.
He spoke this week to local media personality Richard Miller on the Jacks Cannons weekly report about how the focus that they have used this week to try and stay sharp despite the bye week a week ago, knowing how important this game is. They've been practicing at 6 a.m., working out every day.
Big shot on a layout, but too far for Fairfax. Yeah, and it's, Raleigh did the Texas road trip. Mm-hmm. They split their pair of games out there, beating Austin on Saturday and losing in the second end of the back-to-back to Dallas in an awful windy game. Jacksonville saves possession. Layouts coming hard and fast here. Andrew Roney puts the hammer up across the field and connects. Big layout again, and it's for the takeaway. Wow. Looked like maybe it was a strip, but no call. So Raleigh gets it back.
We've had some defensive highlights here in the early going, haven't we?
That was Noah Saul with the layout D there. Great, versatile handler for this Raleigh team as he gets it here and sends it swing. Stall getting high. They get rid of it. Dieter. Now a whistle.
Well away from the action. It's going to go against Jacksonville.
May have been a pick or a foul downfield, so
10 yards.
Dieter walks it up 10 yards. 2.5 to go here in the first quarter.
He was having a hard time finding anybody to connect with on that one as well, so a beneficial penalty for Raleigh to get that offense flowing again.
Helton needs an option. Finds Saul. Hammer.
Wide open.
Nobody there but his man. And it's a score for Raleigh. And it's
Jacksonville Cannons defense.
They take the lead once again, 4-3.
Brian Casey with the goal there for Raleigh as we take another look.
Yeah, here. Across the field, doesn't matter. I mean, there's nobody home to play defense. And the Cannons defensively, I was almost said it right before there, this is where Raleigh's been very good, this area of the field, kind of the 30 on in. And Jacksonville, again, kind of got caught watching and allowing guys to disappear behind.
Watch here on the replay as the strike cut goes near side, it pulls the defender off the weak side, and it leaves nothing but space for that hammer.
Well executed by Raleigh. Good patience, using a penalty to their advantage on that possession. And they got the lead again. Cannons have tied it up a couple of times, have not held the lead here tonight. Raleigh has had an answer. We're approaching 2 minutes here.
Huge backhand defense there, and an incredible takeaway by Justin Allen.
Boy, he used all 6'1" of his frame to sky up for that one.
Allen, an addition to the D-line this year, normally an offensive player for the past couple of seasons, and boy, you can see why he's a big asset here on defense.
Maybe that was his calling all along.
And a whistle, 10-yard penalty against Jacksonville.
And they're getting a little frustrated on the defensive end right now as well. Some contact penalties when they feel like they're playing good, clean defense, and this time it'll go against Raleigh, so they'll walk right back. Delay of game.
Under to Allen.
Raleigh very patient, working cutters.
Allen back to Tristan Green. Back to Allen.
They've been pretty much automatic when they've gotten right down about this part of the field. Jacksonville's defense holding up thus far with under a minute to play.
Right now, just dominator. Working out of the handler set here is Raleigh. And that's the young Liam Searles-Bose, senior in high school at the Carolina Friends School in Chapel Hill.
That's incredible.
We'll talk more about him in a second as we see a blistering flick. And now Searles-Bose goes up the line. Excuse me. That was Jeff Nordgren for Raleigh. And they get the goal to go up 5-3, and it's set up by just a tremendous play from Justin Allen. Let's take another look at that. He was really out of position, but he caught all the way up and went up with the left hand.
And it was a long possession for the Flyers as well. They were patient with it, and you got to give them credit. While Jacksonville's defense was very good for a long time, no self-inflicted wounds for Raleigh. Able to complete every pass, took their time, and eventually it's Nordgren that ends up receiving it. You just can't defend that long.
And Searles-Bose, senior in high school, #1 recruit in the country, pretty much considered the top guy. He's heading to UNC next year, and he is going to make a real impact on the college game. Here he is in the pro game, already looking like a very solid part of their defensive line handling unit.
Yeah, he's not out there as a publicity stunt. He can play the game. I've been impressed by how calm, cool, and collected he is thus far. By the way, Justin Allen was called for a flagrant foul, so that's why this pull is going to come from well behind the end zone line.
So it'll be good field position for Jacksonville. Looks like this pull will trail out of bounds.
They don't have a ton of time to work with, just 25 seconds. So the field position really going to help them out here. And they're trailing by matches Raleigh's largest lead of the night, up 2. And you know the Cannons would love nothing more than to cut this at least to 1 before that clock runs out.
Yeah, especially starting in midfield. They have plenty of time, but they cannot waste their time. Disc is whistled into play. Send it to the far side.
Wasting no time are the Cannons.
To the back line, caught for the score. And that is pretty much how you draw it up if you're Jacksonville. Bobby Lay with the goal for the Cannons.
Bobby Lay getting on the board. As you said, no time wasted for Jacksonville. Took advantage of the good field position. Zipped it right down the far sideline, and then it's Lay on the receiving end. Cannons get it back within 1. 15 seconds still on the clock. Now for Raleigh to potentially score here late. It would not shock me one bit if they were able to.
Well, their offense, when it's been right, has been very efficient. And we'll see if Jacksonville tries to do anything tricky on defense here, maybe to take away the Huck option.
They'll want to keep everything in front of them, that is for sure. Good hang time.
Disc is in play. Time ticking away here. 10 seconds. Helton underneath. Lots of room, no mark. Now double team comes. He throws a hammer. Time nearly expiring.
Oh.
Allen's got it. Allen's looking to the end zone. At the buzzer, it's Polk. No, sir. Not in my house.
Huge play. You teased it earlier. Jakeem Polk's going to be the guy who we'll be talking about with the way he's able to make plays on defense after Allen nearly set up another incredible long score with a leaping Moss. And then Polk skying up. He is incredible, isn't he?
Unbelievable athlete, and has just made an immediate impact for every team he's played for with his explosiveness. So we come to the end of the first quarter, 5-4, Raleigh in front. We'll be back in just a moment.
Also, make sure you grab a bite to eat, maybe a beverage. The concession stand down and to your right to get ready for the second quarter.
So this piece with Eric is amazing to me. It's right in line with what we think is critical for kids, and that is to know their bodies.
The kids have really gotten into having speakers here that aren't just their teachers.
And I think the clinicians did a fantastic job. All the kids were engaged, none of them were distracted. They seemed to get into it right away.
I just want to reach out to Eric and tell him, thank you for coming and sharing the message that our kids can speak up. Early recognition is critical, and I look forward to doing more things with Eric in the future.
It's been great for us as a staff and for our students to experience the message you guys have, and highly recommend it for any school that has the opportunity.
Welcome back as we get set for the second quarter. Raleigh with a 5-4 lead here. Charlie Eisenhood, Scott Manzi with you. This is the AUDL Extra coverage presented by UltiWorld. And it will be Jacksonville getting things started on offense here to begin the second quarter. And they will start at the brick mark.
Good field position to start the second quarter after the big D to end that first quarter. You wonder if some of that momentum might be able to carry over for Jacksonville.
Double team early from Raleigh. Jacksonville breaks through.
Aggressive defensively from Raleigh, trying to force some turnovers.
Nice flow here now as they get to the near side for Travis Catrone. And now flipped out into space. And into the hands of Andrew McKelvey for another score.
His second score of the
And
night.
a really nice offensive possession to begin the second quarter for Jacksonville.
Not much to look at and say, I didn't like the way that looked. It was pretty from the get-go, using pretty good field position to start after the pull goes out of play, and then it's McKelvey getting on the board for the second time tonight. I thought Misha Freistatter was really good in helping to kind of sit in the middle and flow things to the side, really kind of running the offense through him after the double teams to Sullivan early.
Yeah, and Freistatter just so threatening as a deep that when he comes underneath, he's able to just get swaths of open space and does a nice job of keeping things moving for them. Pretty short pull here from Jacksonville. So Raleigh with good field position to start here on their first offensive possession of this second quarter.
Every time Jacksonville has tied it up, Raleigh has answered almost immediately. Will they do so again here?
Terrence Mitchell gets a reset off to Dieter. Whistle for the bump on the mark there. Dieter will walk it up 10 yards.
After the quick whistle, they're going to go deep and take advantage. And an emphatic spike at the end. You think Raleigh isn't fired up?
Yeah, I think they want to win this one. See that again.
Flyers enter the end zone 6-5 here in the second quarter.
Nice throw from Dieter, back shoulder.
I believe that was Jacob Mao in the back corner, a 7-year vet, a Raleigh native. It's a whole personal for a guy who can call Raleigh home for most of his life. And again, Raleigh finding an answer. Cannons come down. Able to get a goal late before the end of the first quarter. Come right back to start the second quarter. All sorts of flow on offense. Momentum riding the Cannons' way. And Raleigh with another answer to retake the lead. Good pull that time. Aggressive from Raleigh. They're not willing to sit back and wait.
Bobby Lay swings middle to Langdon. Now they go far side for Sullivan.
Right back to the middle. They've done a nice job going middle and then to the sides.
Langdon again. Lay.
Whistle.
Disc in the hands of Andrew Carlton right now, but
I can give it back to Lay.
Looks like it's going to be a 10-yard penalty against Lay. Good swing to Langdon. Langdon got away with the travel. No, he didn't. They got him rounding the corner. Nice call by the referee as he tried to step past the mark there. Langdon didn't like the call, but it was definitely a travel. So a couple back-to-back penalties against Jacksonville, but they get the disc back to the far side, and they
There's
get
Misha.
Nice shot to Freistatter for the score.
The penalties almost ended up working out to benefit Jacksonville there. It kind of slowed things down. Raleigh was doing a very good job in denying anything deep. We'll take another look here.
Just great flow right up that backhand side.
I don't know how you lose Misha deep, but Raleigh did there, and he doesn't get open a ton, not with the attention that he commands this season. But the goal-scoring leader in the AUDL from a year ago, able to get his first of the night on that one, and Jacksonville's knotted it right back up at 6.
Freistatter, a first-team All-AUDL selection last season. He's really in the running for MVP with the numbers that he put up.
95 goals.
I mean, it's
incredible.
And not just the goals. If you look at what else he did, he had 41 assists and 13 blocks.
Yeah, he's not a one-dimensional player. And he's actually been the best in the small sample size of one game coming into this one. Been the best, statistically the best defender for Jacksonville, who's going to get great field position here.
Looking to the near side cone. Layout on the far side, but just past the outstretched fingertips of his receiver.
That was ambitious. I might have liked to have seen Cannons go a little more patient there, but hey, you flip the field, you want to take immediate advantage of that. And they're not laying off defensively here.
Terrence Mitchell gets to that one first and then resets it to Kieran Allen.
Raleigh going backward right now. Able to find Mitchell in the middle.
Mitchell to Saul. Now big swing. Comes to Helton, near sideline.
It's been a very good defensive possession for the Cannons. They're making Raleigh work for every inch.
Now the shot goes up from Saul. He's got Helton, but Helton not quite enough speed to get there. Just a little bit of an overthrow from Saul. It was a good look. He had a wide open Helton there.
And I almost felt like it was you go deep because you're a little frustrated from the lack of success in working the cutters in the short game. And so you take a shot, and it didn't work out. So for Jacksonville, that's certainly a big defensive win and a chance for their first lead of the night.
Impatience has been a problem at times for this Raleigh team. They really liked to huck last year. They've tried to get a little more patient, it seems, so far this season. But and then we have a timeout on the field for Jacksonville.
Cannons take their first timeout. We're tied up 6-6.
Head coach Tuba Benson decides he wants to talk a little bit about this. And really, both sides here in the second quarter, the pace has picked up, I think.
Absolutely.
While the goals have gone down slightly, the defensive intensity is ramped up to the highest we've seen here thus far tonight, and probably a good idea. Let's everybody calm down. Deep breath. We'll set up our offense and see if we can't get that first lead. You said it in the open. Tuba Benson, Cannons head coach, said this is must win. And, wow, that seems crazy for game 2, right? That shows just how important this game is to this Jacksonville team.
Yeah, and protecting home field, really, really important. And, Raleigh missing a couple of key guys. This is a big opportunity for Jacksonville. They don't want to let it get away. And, the other big thing about taking the timeout, don't forget, if you're new to the AUDL, substitutions allowed during timeout. So you can get your best offensive players on the field. And that gives you, of course, a good opportunity to punch in the score and take the lead.
I think after that last chance at the break in which the Cannons tried a very difficult pass to the end zone, Coach Benson decided, I'm going to go ahead and get my offensive guys out there and see if we can't get this first lead of the night.
Tipped, and it's knocked away. So does not work out for Jacksonville out of the timeout, but a whistle. So it's going to be a foul.
Nate Goff got called kind of leaning, making contact before that. A second chance now for the Cannons. Can they take advantage? Wow.
And it's just a stone-cold drop.
Misha took his eye off that one.
And this is a throwaway, though. And it was actually missed there by Cole Sullivan, who thought he was going to come take it away. It went over his hands, but luckily nobody behind him. So Jacksonville gets it back. And now Sullivan wasting no time putting up the big backhand, but it's taken away by Raleigh. So some mistakes out of this timeout and a whistle.
And now we're going to get a timeout.
And I believe you're right.
Raleigh is going to call a timeout.
Raleigh taking the timeout. So both teams looking to make some changes here and get a new lineup out there.
Slow this game down a little bit.
A little strategic maneuverings here from both coaches. Mike DeNardis, Raleigh Flyers head coach, well regarded for his strategic innovations. He helped take the University of North Carolina to a championship 2 years ago, in large part because he saved defenses specifically to use at the national championships that no team had seen all season.
Boy, that is really keeping an ace up the sleeve, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And in this age of more games being filmed, teams getting more wily about what they show on camera. So
as great as what we are doing here tonight is, I'm sure the coaches are sitting there going, man, I wish they hadn't seen that play that worked so effectively.
But the thing is, in the AUDL, every game counts.
Yes.
You got 14 games. It's fewer than the NFL. You need those wins if you want to make the playoffs. So there's no reason to hold back here during the regular season.
This Cannons team missed the playoffs a year ago, and I know that's something that is on their mind as they attack this 2017 campaign. Been kind of stop and start here the last few minutes with the timeouts, one called by each side. That first quarter was wow.
And a drop from Mitchell. So it's going to be Jacksonville taking over here.
Prime spot on the field.
And they go right into the end zone to take the lead.
First lead of the night for the Jacksonville Cannons.
And it's Kuntza, new addition to this team, getting into the end zone. Let's take another look.
After the drop from Mitchell setting up, Jacksonville in great position. Quick 2 passes into the end zone. First lead for the Cannons.
So with 6:48 to go here in the second quarter, Jacksonville out in front. Home crowd enjoying the beautiful weather here in North Florida.
Best time of the year here on the First Coast is that kind of mid-March through mid to late May. I mean, it doesn't rain a ton. It's not overly hot. 81 degrees, I think, is as high as it got today. As you mentioned, breezy earlier. It's died down a little bit. It'll cool down throughout the course of the evening. Yeah, this is ideal. Makes that turf down there not unbearable to play on, too.
Fairfax bounces it back to Saul. Brian Casey now looking for a reset. He's got Saul.
Raleigh's had some trouble here as of late.
They have had a couple times where they just haven't been able to make upfield progress. A foul there, no call. Now a big shot up the sideline. What a beautiful throw that is, and Helton's going to pull it down for the score.
No foul, no problem. Raleigh able to put it in anyway, and Jonathan Helton able to score. Raleigh knots it right back up at 7. And no sooner do we discuss the troubles on offense than they're able to connect on a deep puck.
Perfect shot to Helton.
We haven't seen too many guys be able to sneak behind the defense on either side here tonight, but when they have, it's been more often than not opportunistic for both teams.
And I think the referees may have given an advantage there to not calling the foul, letting them play because they got the throw off and connected. And you can see why that's a great rule in the AUDL, giving that opportunity for an advantage play even when there is a foul. So Raleigh able to hold. We're all tied up here. 6:10 to go in the second. Pull trailing and goes out of bounds, so Jacksonville will start at the brick.
Wind is blowing in toward where we are situated, so right where that disc went out of play. Just enough to where I think you get it up high enough, it might have some impact on it.
Double team from Raleigh to start. They like to use that double team in those early situations to stop the huck. Lay near side. Nearly blocked there.
Yeah, I don't know how he snuck that one in. Nice little two-man between Lay and Misha.
Disc now swings to Sullivan. Sullivan looking to the end zone. Big layout from Raleigh, and they get the takeaway.
Jeff Nordgren with the layout there. He's got a goal to his credit, showing up on the defensive end as well, and that was a good offensive possession for the Cannons that comes away with nothing.
And a whistle.
And another timeout for Raleigh.
So they will look to take advantage here, get the offense back on the field, punch in a break here in the later part of this second quarter as we get towards halftime.
It's funny, first quarter, back and forth, defense, setting up offense, whether it was field position or just slowing down teams when they were moving down the field. And this quarter has been much more about the strategy of it. We've seen a handful of timeouts called. This is already the third timeout called this quarter as both coaches are trying to play the chess game a little bit more here.
And just a great game. It was just a recap briefly here. Game started off, Raleigh took a 2-0 lead, got the early break. Looked like they were in pretty good shape to get things going, but Jacksonville answered back, broke back, took a lead here just moments ago, and now are started this offensive point. So if Raleigh scores here to go back in front, it would be a break. But Jacksonville right now in the driver's seat. But with both teams switching their units here and Raleigh putting their offense back out there, they may take control here with this timeout, or at least they hope so.
Billed as maybe the most competitive rivalry in the AUDL, at least in the South especially, coming in. And it has been the back-and-forth affair that we hoped it would be.
Nice inside pass there to Bode. He sends it to the far side for Helton. Helton looking deep. And he's got his man. Cisco again getting loose.
And that's a hat trick for Shane Cisco. And all of a sudden the Huck coming in to play and being very useful for this Raleigh team. Another look. That one traveled a good 60 yards.
Just a perfect throw from Helton.
And not much you can do defensively about that one. Riding the hip of Cisco there with the Cannons defensively. And unless you can fly, you're not going to get up and knock that one down.
With the wind trailing towards us, but also towards sort of the back corner of the end zone, that throw has the ability to get out there at about 60 yards, as you mentioned. In the other direction, a little tougher to get that kind of float and distance because of the wind patterns right now. It's huge flick pull here from Justin Allen, one of his signatures. Oh, and it's just dropped on the centering pass. Sullivan took his eyes off it, but then Raleigh may have thrown it away. Going for the greatest, but not able to get a handle on it is Saul. So it will be back into the hands of Jacksonville. And Jacksonville is very lucky.
I'll say. No harm, no foul on that one, but a couple of drops have plagued them here in this quarter. Both teams really been plagued by a couple of drops, but that one seemed as tailor-made to turn into a 2-goal advantage for Raleigh as anything.
And mentioned it earlier, these teams have played 2 double overtime games. I don't think there's many pairs of teams in the AUDL that can say that. And, a 2-goal advantage is a big deal as we see Sullivan put up the backhand. It's going to be contested and beautifully taken away by Goff. He has had a nice game so far here for Raleigh.
Yes, he has. Denying Langdon, who they're trying to hook up with deep.
Allen flips it to Green. There's Goff in the middle. Tim McAllister. He looks deep, looking for Danny Schmidt, and he's got him for the score. So Raleigh does take advantage. They don't get the easy one, but they get the hard one. And either way, 2-point lead for Raleigh.
And if you had a slider showing momentum, it would be swinging right back in favor of the Raleigh Flyers. It has been back and forth. The Cannons just grabbed their first lead earlier here this quarter, and with Schmidt getting his first goal of the night, Raleigh has now scored 3 unanswered to go back on top by 2. Cannons searching for answers here under 4 to go in the second quarter. The biggest thing is, you said it, 2-goal advantage significant. What you don't want that is to snowball into something worse, especially late in the first half.
That's right. Impressive work from the Raleigh D-line so far, looking very comfortable playing offense. And they have a 2-point lead here. Kutza. It's tipped away, and it's a turnover. Allen gets a paw on it, and Raleigh with a chance to extend the lead. Searles Bose brings it to the line. He shoots deep right away, and Raleigh puts it into the end zone for the score.
Mike Pannoni able to get in again. Wow, and Raleigh, quicker than you can say ultimate. They have gone on a 4-goal run here. The double comes, does not phase Searles Bose. That's the senior in high school, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Calm, cool, and collected.
No fear against the double team of the towering trees
yes.
of Jacksonville. And he's a special young player. And Raleigh now in a very good spot. If they can keep it going here, defense red hot right now. What we really haven't seen much of from Jacksonville is them getting the deep game going. They've had to work under, and it started to make them a little impatient. See if they can. You can see right now, sitting deep are essentially 2 free safeties for Raleigh. This is just a junk look, kind of a zone.
And with the 3-goal advantage, why not? Make the Cannons work for everything here. Make them go the length of the field on you. So far, so good on this possession for Jacksonville.
Andrew Roney needs to get rid of it.
Just did.
Roney gets it back. Whistle. And looks like it's going to be
something on Raleigh.
Well, it's going to go back. So it must have been
a pick. Never mind, it was a pick.
Called downfield, so it'll be a 10-yard penalty.
I'll come back to the 40.
High stall. Jacksonville able to get rid of it. Roney holding. Resets defense very good from Raleigh right now. A good throw there from Roney to get rid of it before the stall. Roney. Scuba again.
This has been not the prettiest of possessions, but it's still going for Jacksonville, and that's all that matters. We got another whistle. Call in the end zone. Oh, they're going to call another pick on Jacksonville. So they'll go right back to the 40 again.
Struggling a little bit with their spacing right now.
We're approaching 1:30 left here in the first half, too.
Looking to the end zone, and they're in.
That's a big win for the Cannons. Really needed to get that one. It was a tough possession, but you could not afford to have another pointless possession trailing by 3. Brandon Perales able to get on the action there as well. Another look here. I believe that was Polk there on the far side, taking his time, waiting for things to clear up, and that wasn't the easiest of scores either. Perales in a narrow window able to come down with that one. So that brings the Cannons a little bit closer. It was the largest lead of the night for either team for Raleigh, that 3-goal lead. And they're back within 2 are the Cannons with under 1.5 minutes left.
Big possession here for the Cannons. See if they can narrow this lead to 1 before halftime.
Meanwhile, Raleigh wants to just show that, that was just a speed bump. And what has been a very efficient last 5 minutes of the second quarter for them.
Yeah, their O-line's had some rest. Helton holding here. Big undercut from Terrence Mitchell, picks up 20 yards. Step around backhand from Bode.
Oh,
2
same
players
team.
Do not communicate, and they nearly turn it over, but good hands. Oh, and somehow that wasn't blocked, and they get into the end zone.
Snuck it through Misha. And once that got in to Noah Saul, the quick turn, well done for Raleigh. We'll take another look at Brian Casey scoring again for Raleigh. And Raleigh wasting no time getting back on. Yeah, I don't know, like you said, how Misha Freistetter did not knock that one down.
It almost looks like he thought for sure he was going to get it, and it just snuck past his hand.
Yeah.
And sometimes that happens. You think, I'm definitely going to get this one, and you know, either lose concentration or you don't go aggressively enough to the disc, and suddenly they make the catch.
Well, you look at your hand and you're saying, I thought I had a Frisbee here. Yeah. Where's the disc? Back to a 3-goal advantage for Raleigh, matching their largest lead of the night. We saw the Cannons at the end of the first quarter with under a minute to play. Were able to get a late goal and then get a nice defensive stand. Will they be able to do that again here? They need it.
Time running down here in the first half. Roney, miscommunication there. They've really struggled in the reset, and that time they pay for it, as Raleigh has a chance to make it a 4-point lead before the end of this second quarter. Disc with Danny Schmidt, looking for Allen in the reset space, and a whistle. And
I think we're going to get something on Raleigh. Another pick. That'll drop them back. 23 seconds left.
And right now, the official game clock has not started. I'm not sure that they ever.
I don't think they whistled it in.
The whistle.
No. Raleigh getting a little bit of a head start there.
So now we're back underway. Allen.
This could be huge for Raleigh and backbreaking for Jacksonville, but great defensive stand there. And then
I think Polk got a hand on it and a whistle here.
That's going to be defensive contact on Raleigh, and that almost looked like an immediate turnover again.
As Kunze wound up the huck, he got hit.
Time running out. Cannons have to go quick. This will have to go into the end zone.
3 seconds left.
Jump ball.
Looking at the buzzer to the end zone, but it's Raleigh that takes it away as we come to halftime with the score Raleigh 11 and Jacksonville 8.
Fun first half.
Oh,
I mean, we saw Raleigh jump to an early lead. Jacksonville comes storming back. Some ties, some lead changes. But I was really impressed by Raleigh there in the last 5 minutes of that second quarter. Established themselves offensively, used some timeouts to their advantage to get their offensive unit onto the field, and it paid off. And you got to tip your cap to the Flyers. A couple of men down, a couple of key men down, and they're coming out here, and you got a three-goal lead at halftime. I'm sure they would have said, yes, we'll sign up for that if you told them before the game.
We'll be back in about 15 minutes for the second half. Please enjoy some AUDL highlights. We've got some top throws, some top 10 plays coming your way during the break. We'll be back. Raleigh 11, Jacksonville 8 here at halftime. Babbitt with the layout score. The help defender was there, but Babbitt made sure he couldn't get to it by diving and making the catch for the Empire. Kelly taken away. Just enough time if they can get the throw to the end zone. 3 rush defenders in the backfield. It's tipped, and it's caught!
Wow.
Izzy Bryant!
Izzy watched that the whole time.
for the score.
Wide open.
Absolutely muscles this hammer, and it's caught! Matt Auletta tracks it down, and another incredible throw from Harper Garvey.
Mazer with the flick puck looking for Stanley Peterson in the end zone. And Stanley with the layout grab.
Air Force One.
Nearly a full field rush for Mazer there.
Levi Jacobs able to save it and throw it back in. And
that's
Bella.
What a play by Jacobs.
And that's what we call it greatest. He's able to dive out of bounds but throw it back in before he lands.
Great awareness.
Sanchez mistake, and they trimmed the gap to 2. Lindsay split 3 players.
Oh my gosh.
Giving Chase a quick look around, no one in the vicinity. He makes an easy catch.
That is a shot from Rasmussen. Wow.
Tremendous catch by Joel Schlacken, his 5th goal of the day, and you won't see any better than that.
Justin Allen's got Hunter Taylor, and you know Allen, he's going to shoot it. Is Hunter Taylor going to make a play? Oh, of course he is, over 2 defenders. Unbelievable from Hunter Taylor.
Sanchez with the defense.
This piece with Eric is amazing to me. It's right in line with what we think is critical for kids, and that is to know their bodies.
The kids have really gotten into having speakers here that aren't just their teachers.
And I think the clinicians did a fantastic job. All the kids were engaged, none of them were distracted. They seemed to get into it right away.
I just want to reach out to Eric and tell him, thank you for coming and sharing the message that our kids can speak up. Early recognition is critical, and I look forward to doing more things with Eric in the future.
It's been great for us as a staff and for our students to experience the message you guys have, and highly recommend it for any school that has the opportunity.
Goose Helton with the disc, finding Ben Dieter, who swings it then to Matt Bode. Atlanta playing real lax. Matt Bode with a huge hammer. And what a throw. Finding Goose. Noah Saul with the disc, back to Snoke. Allen clearing space for Snoke. Big hammer. Finding Goose Helton. And Goose.
And really made an instant impact. Here's Zach Riggins. So give it right back to Bennett. Bennett with the scoober over.
It's like Matt Bennett and Dalton Smith.
Giga Maggie's right.
Exactly. Oh, that scoober over the top.
You'll see that
Didn't
all
take
day
long
long.
to see it.
Or being efficient on the offensive attack. Here's Mickle. And Mickle's looking for a streaking free child. Free child in the back of the end zone with the extremely efficient and methodical on the offensive attack in the first half. Never got up by more than 3. Here's Mickle looking for free child and a beautiful huck from Jimmy Mickle. Field position to start this possession, rather, on the attack now as Purcell is going to grab that one. Here's the hammer from Purcell looking for Hayes in the end zone, and he's going to find Hayes. Diving bid
Great
from
catch
Pollock
from
on
Pollock.
the near side.
He had, it looked like it was down, but his fingers were just clutched underneath. Great IO backhand.
Free child's going to come up, make the grab. Once again, the stall count starting to get pretty high as he's going to dump it to Mickle near midfield, and with
back to Bayless. In space to Lindsley on the right side. He's been hounded here by Falat.
Oh, such a nice throw.
Great throw downfield. Rasmussen will
Wow.
get there. So we're underway here in the second quarter.
Oh, Barry's open.
Wide open.
Oh, that's Boucher. Boucher is wide open. Man, what a throw by Cow. Oh, shot.
Big Cow and Chang.
Stern's working hard and open. Oh,
great
lefty
throw.
inside out back in. Nice throw.
And
great throw.
Man, the other end of the field as well. Flamethrowers will slow this one down as Dahlman has it. Sidearms this over the top, looking for Cohen, who's in acres of space. It holds up a little bit, and Cohen times his leap brilliantly. Here at Laney College as the Spiders try to get back on terms. Down by 4 goals. Chang counted on the double team to get rid of it.
And they're doing oh boy.
Hammer over the top. And nicely
Nice
done by the
throw.
Spiders.
Here's upfield, and Norton goes and fills for him. Cow can absolutely chuck it.
Cow sidearms it downfield, looking for Barry with
nice
a great catch. Sanchez mistake, and they've trimmed the gap to 2.
Oh, there goes Lindsay. Whoa.
Lindsay
Wow,
split
what a
3
throw.
players.
Oh, my gosh.
Giving Chase a quick look around. No one in the
field. It's bigger. So I don't know. It's a good question.
Rasmussen
Ooh, nice crossfield hammer.
With the hammer and the catch for the goal. Weekend at Foothill College when the Spiders host the Flamethrowers. Looking for Lindsley. Makes the catch. A yard shy of the goal line now. Lindsley looks around for an open play.
Both players seem to have passed the protocol. It remains to be seen whether they will return. Stephen?
Thank you, Kirsten. Back to action here. The Flamethrowers with a long throw. Start then to the 2017 AUDL campaign. One last chance, though, perhaps for the Spiders. As time expires, the catch is made for the goal.
They bring it near side to Cox. Cox looking for that forehand. Ames has to lay out for great effort by Ames to get that disc.
All 7 guys work for it. If you've got a liability, they're going to expose that. But, yeah, I'm sure Cameron and Keenan will have plenty of opportunities.
Welcome back to the Bulls School, where the Raleigh Flyers have an 11-8 lead on Jacksonville here at halftime. Charlie Eisenhood with Scott Manzi here with you on a beautiful night in North Florida. Got some halftime stats to take a quick look at before we get going here for the second half, starting in about 1 minute. And I think the big thing that stands out to me before we get to some other standouts for Raleigh is that for Jacksonville, first of all, 8 goals right now at halftime. Last week they scored, or 2 weeks ago, they scored 40 against Nashville. Big thing, Misha Freistadter only has 1 goal. Jeremy Langdon only has 1 assist. And those are 2 guys who were on the board for them a lot 2 weeks ago, and of course last season, especially for Freistadter.
No doubt. The offense sort of goes usually as those, especially as far as Freistadter goes. Langdon being a new addition was a huge part of that 40-point effort in week 1, and them being quiet. Raleigh, you got to tip your cap to the way they've done, or the job they've done defensively in limiting that, and a lot of that is because Jacksonville's not been able to go deep.
Raleigh will start this second half here on offense. Shane Sisco had 3 goals in the first half. Justin Allen, 2 assists and 2 blocks. He had a great first half, and we will see more of this offense here early, but they get off to a very poor start as they turn it over on their third throw.
Raleigh could do very little wrong there in the last 5 or so minutes of that second quarter, and they immediately start off the second half with a turnover. Can Jacksonville take advantage?
Stahl getting high, so they fire one deep, looking for Polk. Everybody goes up, it's tipped, and it's knocked away by Mitchell, preventing any second effort opportunity. Nice heads-up play there by Mitchell.
Way to stay with it. I mean, that initially they're looking to go to the front part of the end zone, tipped up in the air. It looked like the Cannons might have had an opportunity after it got tipped to maybe steal one, but Mitchell was Johnny on the spot. The turnover doesn't hurt Raleigh.
Nice defense there, but not enough as Raleigh hangs on. And a shot going up. It's hanging, but it's caught. And it's in the end zone. A little stare down there from Brian Casey as Raleigh goes up 4.
It feels like there have been a handful of times in which it looks like Jacksonville's going to make a play defensively. It doesn't happen, and Raleigh strikes immediately after that. This is another example of this. I mean, look, you don't see the initial completion to Fairfax, but the Fairfax throw into the end zone, pulled down by Casey. 2 chances for the Cannons to get it back, and they're not able to take advantage of it defensively. And this is the largest lead of the night for either team. Raleigh adding to their lead, now up 4.
And Jacksonville's had plenty of chances. They have taken the disc away from Raleigh, and it's been a question mark for them. Last year, a big problem. Their D-line, really athletic, very capable of getting blocks, but they couldn't put the disc into the end zone. And I think we've seen a little bit of that here tonight. Haven't seen much from Chris LaRock. I'm not sure if he's hurt or just not getting a ton of playing time, but we really haven't seen him touching the disc a ton, and he's someone that they're going to look to really kind of marshal that D-line offense.
That'll be up to the Jacksonville offense to try and do exactly what they're supposed to do, that is score, something they have not done a ton of.
Raleigh, again, in sort of a matchup in the handler set and zone downfield. Now transitioning to more traditional one-on-one defense.
It's freed up the Cannons a bit here.
A nice give and go up the line there, gaining about an extra 10 or 15 yards. Now disc with Langdon.
They got him. Ooh. They had a man open, streaking toward the end zone. That was Hickson.
Here's Freistadter. Langdon. Now he goes to the front cone. Big body contact, but it's caught for the score.
Cole Sullivan, my goodness. That is a leader putting a team on his back. No business coming down with that one. And I misspoke earlier saying Hickson. It was actually Sullivan that was open, streaking toward the end zone earlier, and they missed him. Didn't miss him this time. Sullivan through the contact, getting the toes down. Really impressive.
Great play. Let's take another look at it. Shot goes up the sideline. He gets bumped, and look at him get the toe in.
That is NFL worthy. Body control from Cole Sullivan. Very impressive, and Jacksonville needed that one. Sullivan, one of the leaders of this team, able to make a play, and that's what the Cannons are looking for. First goal of the second half for them, and they get back within 3. Now here is where they have struggled since they took their one and only lead of the night, and that is turning good offense into good defense and successive good possessions.
Well, they're going to have a tougher go of it here as they get a delay of game called against them. So it's going to give good field position to Raleigh to start this point. And they get it to Saul near midfield.
Raleigh wasting no time. They're getting down there. They're going for it.
To the end zone, and it's caught by Goose Helton for the score.
Goose Helton.
And the Cannons have been just like a half step late defensively a handful of times here. You got to give credit to Raleigh, though. I mean, they wasted no time getting their offense, set it up on the right sideline, go deep, and Helton was at the receiving end of it. Raleigh unfazed by anything that Jacksonville has done here tonight. Another look at it. This is just a great lead. Get it out there and let Helton run it down, and that's exactly what he did.
But it's got to be better defense from Jacksonville. I mean, they just gave up continuation throws there right up the open side. And I know they had a short pull. They had to start from midfield, but you got to play tighter defense, especially against someone like Helton, who is looking to go to the end zone.
And we know they're capable of it because they've done it already here various times throughout the night. It's just doing it consistently has been the struggle.
Jacksonville offense back to work, comes underneath to Freistatter.
And while Misha, you mentioned he's been quiet scoring-wise, he has been pretty good in helping to facilitate this offense from the middle. But, boy, they'd love to get him free deep. He's being dogged by Nate Goff.
And they have to take the deep reset to Roney. Now Sullivan. Big bid far side. Jacksonville hangs on. Nice pace on that throw from Sullivan.
It was. Snuck it right past Muniz. He was looking for the layout.
Bobby Lay. A little bump on the mark there. It goes uncalled.
Can the Cannons stay patient here? Or will you see
crowd getting into it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, heavy contact there, and maybe that's just what Jacksonville needed. Little moment to catch their breath, 10-yard penalty.
And an assist to get a little bit closer. And now they can get everybody down.
Strike cut into the end zone for the score.
Well done there. You get the penalty, set you up in good field position. You're able to set your guys up.
Into the end zone. Flyers lead 13-10.
See it again here. Jeremy Langdon with the goal.
And Misha getting it on the sideline. Langdon gave it to him, got it right back, and the Cannons able to get back within 3 again. And good to see. Here's the two guys we mentioned. Man, haven't heard enough of them. Both of them connecting right there on that goal.
Yeah, I think they know. They got to step up here in the second half. Team needs them to be scoring options. They do have better depth than they did a year ago, and that's an important feature for this Jacksonville team. But at the end of the day, there's a reason Misha Freistatter was on the first team All-UDL last year and that he led this league in goals, and that's because he's a big body, and it's basically impossible to stop him one-on-one. So far in this game, he's been really working underneath. See him delivering an assist there. But see if we see more of him later on. Saul finds Allen underneath, and Allen looking for Mitchell, and that is just picture-perfect offense from the Raleigh Flyers.
I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth fast enough. Can the Cannons get a stop after a goal? Because they have not done that lately. Raleigh has gone to work very quickly on the offensive end after giving up scores, and they do so again here, this time going up top. And it's Mitchell on the receiving end. And again, just another Raleigh Flyer getting behind the Jacksonville defense.
Yeah, they've just been getting loose, and they've really put their hucks on the money, and that's really been one of the big differences in this game. They just keep getting their offense off the field so quickly.
It's another key part of it. You can huck a deep ball you want, and if you're overthrowing it or underthrowing it doesn't matter. But they have been very accurate with the deep throws tonight.
The wind basically still at this point. Good pull here from Raleigh.
Yeah, pinned the Cannons deep.
Bobby Lay. Sullivan with looking to a blade. Oh,
wow.
Great grab near sideline from Langdon. And a whistle as Allen hit Langdon. But it looks like Langdon is going to call it. He's going to invoke the integrity rule and call no foul against Allen. Just good one-on-one defense. Nice show of spirit there from Jeremy Langdon. Not exactly a guy with a reputation for having great spirit, but a nice moment there.
You know, they say that leopards can change their spots.
That may be true.
Perhaps that's an example of it.
Langdon, a very fiery player in college, played at the University of Central Florida, helped that team make it to the finals a few years ago, and then again to the semifinals the year that UNC won the championship.
I know he's excited to get back into his home state to play here with the Cannons. They're going to move Jacksonville back. Delay of game on the Cannons. Crowd getting a little anxious now. Raleigh up by 4. And
Freistatter and Langdon working. Two-man game here.
A lot of pressure on each offensive possession for the Cannons now.
Still just Langdon and Freistatter far sideline. Great activity from both players, and now Langdon gets free, and he's going to rope it into the end zone. And what a great possession for Jeremy Langdon.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that we've said the names Freistatter and Langdon more here in the second half, and it's led to more scores for this Cannons bunch. Another look at it here. It was all Langdon and Freistatter until Sullivan got it and found Langdon deep. That's back-to-back for Jeremy Langdon, and once again, the Cannons back within 3. They have scored 3 goals here already in the opening moments of the third quarter. Now, the other issue is Raleigh scoring just as often.
Yeah, they have not slowed down the Raleigh attack. Maybe a chance to do that here. But some crisp offense to begin this second half. Lots of time left in this game. Plenty of time for Jacksonville to knot it up.
Raleigh has not shown any signs of slowing down since about midway through the second quarter. They took the lead, which they have maintained here to this point and built out as large as 4.
Kieran Allen goes ahead to Dieter.
This already feels like a better defensive possession for Jacksonville.
That's because it hasn't been 4 throws to a goal.
Yeah.
Dieter, slashing cut, gets free. Now Fairfax. Inside flick. They've worked it out to the far sideline. Coming back to the middle, and now into the end zone. Kieran Allen with the assist. Noah Saul with the score. And Raleigh gets another goal. Maybe not quite as quick, but still very efficient.
I want to point to an earlier spot in that possession in which breaking deep was Noah Saul, and they did not try the huck because Jakeem Polk was right on his hip. They slowed things down, found him on the far sideline, got a couple of extra passes, and Saul ends up getting the score anyway. So great patience on the offensive end from Raleigh on that possession. Pretty much everything they're doing, it just feels right when they're on offense.
Jacksonville's going to have to figure out something a little bit different because they have not been able to stop the Huck, and then when they stop the Huck, they haven't been able to stop the under. So they're going to need to maybe try a zone of some kind, see if they can mix it up with a well-timed double team. There's just so many good handling talents on this Raleigh team. It's tough to slow them down, especially on this big AUDL field.
They are all on display here tonight. In the meantime, the Cannons will have to just try and play keep up.
Lay up the sideline. It's caught inbounds by Freistatter. He throws a hammer, and it's tipped and knocked away. Nice play there.
A whistle will stop things.
That was Evan Howie with the block. 10-yard penalty goes against Jacksonville, and they have a chance now to extend this lead to 5, which would be the largest in the game. Searles Bose, far sideline. Back to Howie. Goff.
They're finding the open guy every time a double comes.
Here's Nordgren.
Not panicking. Oh, had a man open in the end zone.
Nordgren. Doubled. Whistle. And
offensive contact, I believe. Well, that's the way the Cannons were acting. They were walking it back.
I'm trying to see. It looks like it's going to be a foul against Jacksonville. So maybe defensive contact on the mark. So Raleigh will be able to center the disc here on the goal line. Should give them a lot of opportunity, of course.
Tough break for Jacksonville there.
Nordgren. Little flip into the end zone. And Raleigh takes a 5-point lead with 4:32 to go here in the third.
Shane Sisko, 4 times he has found the end zone. And you got to tip your cap to the Raleigh defense that set this thing up. They were able to kind of double. Cannons were moving right back down. They've had no trouble, it seems, scoring here in this third quarter. Freistatter on the sideline, double-teamed, tried a difficult hammer, knocked away, and then from there it was how many passes were going to take for Raleigh to get down the field and get in. And they have been unstoppable here in the second half, whether it's the offensive unit or the defensive unit.
Exactly what I was going to say. Their D-line has looked just as good as their offensive line. And that, of course, is the sign of a team that is talented and deep. And this Raleigh team, we knew they were going to be good. But, again, they're missing some of their best players today. John Nethercutt not here. Hunter Taylor not here. 2 starters for their O and D lines, respectively. Little push-off on the mark. Not sure whether they're going to call that against Jacksonville or Raleigh. And referee discussing it here.
Feels like the Cannons might be getting a tad frustrated here as we enter the final, nearing in on 4 minutes to play here in the third quarter. And it might have gotten away with one a little bit there.
I think there was definitely an offensive foul there with the push-off by Sullivan.
He leaned in.
Lay to the backhand. One-on-one downfield, and Freistatter does what he does and pulls it down.
Seeing that one hang up in the air, I said, it was up there a long time. Defense able to get back underneath it, but I'm going to take my bets on Misha Freistatter coming down with that 9 out of 10 times at least. And it's just so difficult to defend when he's able to get behind the defense. You're already exerting all your energy to get back to him, and then you have to try and out-leap him. I mean, he's 6'7". Good luck.
Good luck is right. And back when he was on Central Florida, when they made it to the finals, I was just looking back at this today, actually. They beat Carleton, a Carleton team that has so much legacy in the college division. And they beat them 15-8 in the semifinals. World's quality players on that Carleton team. And it was Freistatter, and it was Langdon, and it was Mike Hickson who helped them do that.
The Cannons roster now, essentially.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of these players, University of Central Florida and University of Florida, and a few Florida State folks like Chris LaRocque have fleshed out this team that is really a Florida team, truly a Florida team, not really a Jacksonville team as much as a Florida team. In fact, I was talking to the coach. Tuba Benson before the game, and he said, we don't practice once the season starts because we just live too far apart from each other.
Yeah.
He thinks that's why they did so well on the road last year, because they were already playing road games here at Bull Stadium.
Yes.
The drive from Miami, 6 hours.
Trust me, I know it. It's not easy. People, I don't know, unless you've lived here or you've driven through this state, you don't quite realize how big it actually is. I mean, from tip to tip, 6 hours, and that's if you're not dealing with construction and traffic.
Saul with a huge under to Dieter, but a whistle, and it's almost certainly going to be a pick here. There's so much separation for Dieter. So it's going to be a 10-yard penalty. Now a great opportunity for Jacksonville. They break the flow. They get the 10-yard penalty. Let's see if they can do anything with it. Mitchell looks off the deep-cutting Helton. Now Saul bombs the backhand. He's got 2 cutters, but too far for both of them. So Jacksonville will get a look at it here with 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
And a rare misfire on a huck for Raleigh. They've been seemingly automatic on those tonight.
Almost 100% here in this second half so far.
It's a huge possession for Jacksonville. It can't be said enough.
And I think what I knew was coming, there's the timeout. Almost certainly what that's going to be. And no, I'm wrong. It's going to be a 10-yard penalty.
Oh,
I thought the timeout was just around the corner.
I looked down to Coach Tuba Benson, and I noticed he wasn't moving, so then I was saying, wait, where is it? I thought after the sluggish start there from the D-line that he might try and switch his guys out.
Good find with the blade.
Oh, he's got him.
Looking for Polk, and he's got it. And Jacksonville's got a break. And that's what they brought him here to do. And maybe you can hear the PA announcer here calling him Jakeem Sports Center Polk.
He living up to the highlight reel on this last one. Snuck behind the defense, going up in the air, dunking it home when he was finished with it. That's a big-time break for the Cannons, who were just moments ago down by 5, the largest deficit of the night. They've got it back to 3. This has sort of been the wall here in the second half. Can they break through that one?
Well, they took advantage of the one time that we've really seen Raleigh make a mistake, an unforced error here in the third quarter, and their D-line able to get it done. They didn't have to use the timeout. So with just over 2 minutes to go, see the new D players out there. Try to get another one.
Energize the crowd here a little bit in Jacksonville as well.
Brian Casey takes the centering pass this time. Helton, strong cut underneath, now looking deep.
Can he run it down? Oh, wow.
Incredible throw from Goose Helton.
That was, words cannot say how beautiful that was led for Justin Allen.
We both were speechless after this one. Look at it again. Helton comes under, a little fake to move the mark, and then an absolutely perfect hanging flick. That you can't throw it any better than that.
No. When it came out of his hand, I said, no chance. No chance. And Allen, great speed to get his separation initially and run that one down, but, man, all the credit in the world to that throw.
And really, Helton is a player. He was on the USA men's national team this past summer at the World Championships. Important cutter for them, and you can see why Raleigh was very glad to add him to the roster this season. He's been a big player for Chicago years past. Won an MVP back in the early days of the AUDL.
Showing some MVP form there with that last throw.
Little contact there on the step through. No call, and a miscommunication from Jacksonville. And now Raleigh with a chance to break.
And nobody was home on that one. And a little confusion here defensively for Jacksonville already.
Big swing.
Oh, tried for the D there and did not pay off.
Yeah, it was a risky choice. Didn't really have a look at it. Raleigh, methodical here. big shot from the far side from Liam Searles Bose, and he drops it in for Tim McAllister, and just like that, Raleigh's back up 5.
Searles Bose, can't say enough about how impressive he is as a youngster, playing professionally, still in high school, finds himself on that far sideline and just drops this one in. Great recognition. McAllister slipping behind the Cannons defensive back, and Raleigh has not broken a sweat when it's come to Cannons rallies and things of that nature. Really impressive for Jacksonville to get back within 3. They get a break. They erase that 5-goal deficit, get it a little bit closer, and that's it. That's like the line in the sand in which Raleigh says, nope, you're not getting any closer, as they have, within a minute or so, built it right back out to a 5-goal advantage.
The big flick pull again from Justin Allen. Look at that pull. Most players cannot throw a flick pull at all, and he could throw it almost 100 yards.
He's averaging 5.63 on his hang time on pulls, and that one was right up there. Under a minute here in the third quarter. Cannons quickly back down 5, and they've been good at the end of quarters. They need to find a way to keep that up here.
Fakes the hammer. Now swings. And just there's not been a lot of connectivity between the handlers and the cutters for Jacksonville. With under 30 seconds to go, this is a very big point. The Cannons want to have a chance to make a fourth quarter comeback. Good find.
All right, setting up for him now. Spacing.
Now they get it ahead. Catrone. Gets it to Roney. Roney, hammer, far side, and it's caught for the score as time nearly expiring. 2 seconds left on the official game clock. But Tyler Kunza pulls that down. What a find.
That was very impressive, very impressive. And as you said, much needed for the Cannons. That one hung up there just long enough. And beat the clock. Now.
Well, it's a very interesting situation here because Raleigh, the clock does not start until the disc is put into play. Not just touch, but put into play. So Raleigh's basically going to have to catch it or pick it up and immediately try to throw it to the end zone for a goal. Of course, Jacksonville will counter by basically sending maybe only 2 or 3 defenders up the field here. We'll see what they do. But you know, teams practice these situations, so they're going to send 2 players up the field here. It's caught. They try to get it up ahead. Do they get it off? The buzzer sounds. I think they're going to wave this one off no matter what happens, because I don't think that throw got off. Either that or there's a call. I believe there may have been a travel call.
Okay. I was about to say, if that one didn't get off, they were a little delayed in the saying that one was late. I thought he got it off in time, but apparently the travel waved it off. Knocked away anyway, moot point. But Raleigh, 4-goal advantage. They've led since midway through the second quarter, and they are 1 quarter away from picking up another win against their rivals, the Jacksonville Cannons, and a big one on the road.
18-14 here at the end of the third quarter. We'll be right back in just
So this piece with Eric is amazing to me. It's right in line with what we think is critical for kids, and that is to know their bodies.
The kids have really gotten into having speakers here that aren't just their teachers.
And I think the clinicians did a fantastic job. All the kids were engaged. None of them were distracted. They seem to get into it right away.
I just want to reach out to Eric and tell him, thank you for coming and sharing the message that our kids can speak up. Early recognition is critical, and I look forward to doing more things with Eric in the future.
It's been great for us as a staff and for our students to experience the message you guys have, and highly recommend it for any school that has the opportunity.
Welcome back to Bulls Stadium, where Raleigh has an 18-14 lead on Jacksonville. Raleigh getting set to pull to start the fourth quarter here. Jacksonville offense needs to be very efficient, and the D-line has work to do. We begin the fourth quarter here with the pull from Allen. Disc swinging around, whistle, and a call goes against Raleigh.
Contact on the Flyers, 10-yard penalty.
Lay stepping into a backhand. One-on-one downfield, it's tipped, and great defense on the other end from Mike Pannoni, showing off his speed and his just wile. I mean, he's really
stuck
smart
with that one.
He stayed with it, didn't let the offensive player catch up and make a second effort at it.
We figured Pannoni would be the guy to mark Misha a lot tonight, and he was doing so there and did a great job of it. And here comes Raleigh quickly on the break.
Allen. Little dish. Not in the end zone, say the referees. And now a whistle.
And a bump, I believe, on Jacksonville.
Cisco's mad because he would have had his fifth goal. And it should be centered up here for Raleigh. So Cisco's going to bring it to the middle of the goal line here after the foul.
They've already scored one like this here tonight in just a matter of seconds.
Cisco looks to the inside flick, not there, and now trying to get rid of it, and it's a turnover.
Wow.
So nice goal line defense from Jacksonville, and they've got a chance to narrow this lead.
That was as big a stop as we've seen tonight.
They needed that. Can't afford to give up any breaks here.
Cisco was a hair out of the end zone when he caught that initial pass, and then getting the chance to center and not getting anything out of it. Great defense.
Backhand. Pile up. Tipped. And caught on the second effort for the score. Catrone gets the goal. Brings Jacksonville back within 3.
They're looking for Langdon down there. He's already scored 2 here in the second half. This is exactly why it's a team effort. Tipped by Langdon right into the hands of the waiting Travis Catrone.
So Jacksonville does what they need to do. They get the hold to start here in the fourth.
And here's that number, 3. Keep getting it within 3. Can they get the stop to get it any closer? Feels like if they could just get it down to 2, that might be the break the dam a little bit and maybe give
they
this
Cannons
team
crowd back in the game.
Yeah,
That's
just
a
give
big
them the
thing.
confidence.
It's an energy team. They need to find some of that energy. Brian Casey starting things for the Raleigh offense. Whistle. I think AUDL referees need to do a better job of making clear what the call is. Very difficult. I think if it's difficult for us, it's got to be almost impossible for the fans to know what's happening on these plays. Better signals about what's going on. It's a contact call, but it's just not very clear that that's what happened there.
I've done some PA work in the past for the Cannons and had it to where I've got everybody in the stadium turning up and looking, saying, well, what happened? And we're up here trying to figure it out the same as you folks.
Some displeasure voice from the crowd here.
Yeah, Matt Bodie indicating he got poked in the eye. Kind of maybe selling a call a little bit. And the crowd that you mentioned has been out of it much here in the second half, was in it there for a moment, and now whistles and defensive penalties have pulled them right back down to where they're sitting on their hands.
Casey swings out. Far side for Dieter. Fairfax. Reset to Saul. He zips it underneath to Mitchell. Mitchell's been all over the midfield here in the second half.
Integral part of the Raleigh offense all night long. This is dangerous.
Wow. An incredible catch. And they're going to get him. They're going to ring up Polk for the foul. And the crowd doesn't like that call either, but he definitely got the worst of that contact. 10-yard penalty and a great catch. Got to mention that. Yeah. Excellent job to hang on there by Fairfax.
That was a fantastic layup by Fairfax. And kind of a bad luck penalty for Polk. Just trying to make a play.
Saul. Just a great strike cut there into power position by Bode. Bode resets to Saul. Dangerous little forehand. Now looking deep. It tips off the hand of Ben Dieter. Not sure he quite saw that one coming. And the throw from Saul gets away. And here's Jacksonville.
Yeah.
They're going to have a long way to go.
But they can get it within 2 if they can score here. Another chance at a break. Dieter, yeah, you said didn't quite maybe see that one. He kind of adjusted his path to it late. And I think that's what forced him to go up with one hand instead of 2, which is why I wasn't able to hang on to that one.
A great find here on the near side. Kunza.
Oh, nearly threw it too low.
Kunza holding. Gets rid of it. And nobody covering Polk underneath.
I don't know if that was intended.
And now Polk, all alone, lays out, can't get it. And they give away that opportunity. Freystadter thought he had him. And now Polk looking a little shaken up on the play.
Might be a cramp if I was going to play doctor from way up here behind the glass. I mean, when you're kind of jumping off, laying out like that. That was a possession that was disjointed at times. It was effective in the fact that they were able to get down the field, but avoided a couple of turnovers. Guys stepping in front of passes that might have been intended for others, and now here's a crucial player for the Cannons, Jakeem Polk, that you're hoping he can get over to the sideline, get stretched out, and get back in there because they're going to need him for this final 8:05. Big stand for Raleigh defensively. We should mention that. I mean, that was the shot for the Cannons to get it as close as it has been since the first half, and weren't able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, more on the Cannons, though, than the Flyers. Just a miscue on the throw there. But either way, you're absolutely right. And Raleigh's just been so clinical. You know, Jacksonville hasn't forced Raleigh into multiple turnover points. They've had their chances. Sometimes they've scored. A lot of times they haven't. And when Raleigh gets it back, they rarely give Jacksonville another chance.
And they have not turned over the ball. Or, excuse me, not the ball. There I go, slipping up. They haven't turned over the disc a ton tonight either.
Well, Scott, you might be surprised to know it's often called the ball in Ultimate, too.
Okay,
it's kind
so
of
I'm not totally wrong.
lingo right now to say, go get the ball.
I'm just ahead of the curve.
You are ahead of the curve. You didn't even realize that you were ahead of the curve. Offsetting fouls called here, so just going to get a reset of play. And we are now continue.
Clock has rolled under 8 minutes to play, and it's starting to become a factor.
The huck from Allen looking for Mitchell. Big defense, and Mitchell, though, holds him off and hauls it in. And now the dish to Saul, and it's a score.
Noah Saul.
And a huge play for Raleigh. But now, I'm sorry, there's a whistle, and they're saying that he wasn't in, perhaps.
Travel.
I guess you're right. It must be a travel on Mitchell. So wipe the score off the board.
That's big. I mean, first of all, tremendous play by Mitchell to stay with that one, to read it, because it kind of hooked back left at the last second.
And there they go right into the end zone easy.
So Mitchell gets the assist anyway.
It's Goose Helton with the score.
Helton, his third score of the night.
And Helton with the hat trick now. And talk about a swing. That was a 2-goal swing right there. Cannons marching down, a chance to cut it to 2. They turn it over in the end zone, and Raleigh marches all the way back down using a successful huck and then finishing it up after the penalty slowed them down just slightly, and the lead back 4 again.
Still time for Jacksonville, but it's starting to run out. They had the golden opportunity, but Polk not able to get it. And it was a really even first half for most of the way. The last 5 minutes of the second quarter, Raleigh really asserted themselves with the D-line. Built a lead up to 11-8 at halftime, then really looked tremendous through most of the third quarter. Got it up to 5. Jacksonville cut it to 3 here at the beginning of the fourth, but it's 4 again. Jacksonville just hasn't been able to get breaks.
It was tied at 7 with about 5.5 left in the second quarter. From then on, Raleigh has flipped it into another gear.
Hammer from the far side goes off the fingertips of the intended receiver, and so Raleigh now has a chance to maybe put this game away. Big contact underneath, and it's going to be a whistle against Jacksonville. Maybe an injury here, though, as well.
Is that Freistetter? Might have been.
That is Misha.
Yeah.
And he does not look like that contact went well for him. And not clear
what exactly he might have injured on the play. Bang kind of, it was as heavy a contact as we've seen here tonight, and not a good sign. He's not putting much pressure on that right foot.
Yeah, it looks like something happened to that right leg, and he's going to have to come off. That's a big blow for Jacksonville.
No doubt. Jakeem Polk still standing on the sideline for Jacksonville as well, working out his calf that appeared to have cramped up on that last layout attempt he did, in which Jacksonville turned it over. And, yeah, Misha not looking good right now. Still making his way off the field, and now we'll get back underway.
High stall, but a beautiful swing pass. Opens up the field. It's Charlie Muniz. He finds Schmidt. Working far side. Big forehand. Going cross field, and it's Searles Bowes with a goal. He's been the assist man so far, but he gets the goal here. And the lead back to 5 for Raleigh. Searles Bowes like, hey, I know where to cut. I just threw this assist a couple points ago.
Exactly. I've seen the other end play out a handful of times already tonight, so why not get me a little bit of love in the goal-scoring aspect? Take another look at it here. Slip behind, and those are pretty easy. If you can make a deke and find yourself in the back corner and all you got to do is drop it in.
Weak side cutting has been really strong from Raleigh, and a timeout from the Cannons here. It's their first timeout here in the second half, so they just have to regroup at this point. 6:20 to go here.
You got to worry about perhaps some body language that's a little bit lagging. That the effort defensively on that last goal wasn't top notch. You've had a couple of guys that have dealt with some issues with the lower body and have to come out of the game. It felt like so much of this one swung on that Polk attempt in the end zone that did not connect.
And you think about how this game might be different if it had been a goal. Instead, it was an injury for him, no score. Raleigh talking it over. Jacksonville talking it over.
Raleigh is risen to the challenge. They have spent a lot of time on the road here as of late. We're in Texas last week, and here they are in Florida this week, and not affecting them too much. Of course, they drop a tough one to a very good team in Dallas, but they're just a couple of minutes away from their second road win of the year already.
Yeah, and they got the win already over Atlanta, over Austin. If they win here against Jacksonville, they'll be a heavy favorite against Nashville as well. They look like right now the clear number 2 team in the South Division behind Dallas.
And that's exactly what they
I'm
wanted.
very curious to see how Dallas does at Raleigh, because I think Raleigh was in a really tough spot coming off on the back-to-back, having to play Dallas, and they just had nothing in the tank, and the wind was blowing like 35 miles an hour. And it's just
adverse conditions.
It's not great for their game, and I think you saw what happened is that they just really struggled, and Dallas just had better ability to throw in the wind. But in more normal circumstances, how close is that game? Is it still a blowout? I don't think so, and I think it will be really good to see Dallas playing at Raleigh later this season.
You highlighted already earlier some of the changes and the additions that Raleigh has made this season, because basically all geared toward competing with Dallas in the South, and that could end up being the game of the year when they meet up in Raleigh.
Many great games to come. Of course, the Cross Coast Challenge. Teams playing out-of-division games for the first time in the AUDL. 4 of those games coming up later this season. Check it out. Big Huck here. Great throw. Look at the hang time. And into the end zone. And it's McKelvey with another goal, adding on to his 2 goals from the first half. So that's what Jacksonville needed coming out of the timeout. Quick goal.
Exactly. The timeout used to set up this play, set up the Huck, and you already said the hang time was crucial because McKelvey had to run that one down and needed plenty of time to gather himself to do it. And that took what could have been a very difficult play and made it, while still challenging, a lot more manageable for McKelvey. And a quick goal. It's exactly what Jacksonville was looking for. Just under 6 minutes left. Back within 4. Got the crowd up and cheering there. This game, it can be a little streaky. You just got to get a little momentum on your side.
It's been a little streaky. Jacksonville's had their moments. Took the lead briefly in the first half. But they're going to have work to do here. D-line needs to find something in these final minutes.
Just to take Raleigh out of their comfort zone, which they've operated in much of the night.
There's Mitchell coming under for a big gainer yet again. He's been a nightmare for the defense. Sends a big swing to Dieter. Kind of a double team, but don't really get there, and Casey gets the big gainer. Reset to Saul. Crowd imploring Jacksonville to make a play. See Polk back in the game. Mitchell near side. 15 yards outside the end zone.
They've done a really good job of resetting and then finding guys like this.
Saul looking to the break side for Mitchell. He's got him, and Raleigh's got another goal.
That was a great throw, too.
Noah Saul has had an excellent game, stepping up in the absence of John Nethercutt and delivering not only some great throws like this one, but just very steady handling. See him get open on the little strike cut and then goes back to the opposite side of the field. And how well has Raleigh used the opposite weak side of the field tonight?
It feels like half of their goals have come off of that. They have used the field to its entirety tonight, and really kind of the switching, losing guys in the wash. It's not the easiest thing to do, but they are making it look easy tonight.
Just over 5 minutes to go here in the game. Raleigh holding on to this 5-point advantage. Allen's pull trailing to the sideline and lands just out of bounds. So it'll be Sullivan to bring it to the brick mark here for Jacksonville. Side stack for the Cannons.
Raleigh not going to let their foot off the pedal defensively. They know that the Cannons put up 42 weeks ago. They have a potent offense, and this could flip quickly if they don't stay aggressive. No prevent defense here.
Little quick double team just to take advantage of the defender behind the disc. Lay.
Got him.
Backhand up the sideline.
Great job.
Were his feet in bounds? That'll be the question.
I think
And
so.
It looks like they're going to confer here.
Great presence of mind to reestablish.
While they think about it, let's take a second look
Yeah.
here. I think we've got to look right up the sideline.
Good throw from Lay. Good hang time. Back into the field of play. That's a catch.
And the question is, did he reestablish
Yeah.
position in bounds?
I thought he
or did
did.
he use the opportunity? And it is going to be a timeout by the referees.
Yeah, they're going to
here.
get together and discuss this one. I thought he just established himself in time. It was bang, bang.
Let's look again. We're going to slow it down. Referees making a decision, and they're saying no goal. No goal. And so on our next stoppage of play, we'll take another look.
Yeah. Head coach Tuba Benton out there to argue it.
But it's going to go on deaf ears.
That's a bad break, certainly, for Jacksonville, who really could have used that one to get back within 4.
And at this point, the clock really working against
Really,
them.
4.5 left. Raleigh getting off to a
Whistle
too
there.
quick of a start there.
And some confusion about where the disc could be tapped into play. And it is going to be back at the spot of the turnover. So now we are back into play, double team. Now they're at the back of the end zone. Huge pressure here, almost a triple team. Scuber finds a little breathing room. Can they get it out of the end zone? Huge Scuber. And looked like a foul there from Jacksonville. And now Raleigh off to the races and a huge, hard foul underneath. And he could certainly get a flagrant for that, and you could eject him for a play like that. I mean, maybe a little extreme to eject a player for just a bump on the mark, but that was a deliberate, aggressive bump to try to stop flow, and there's just no place for that. And now the referee is going to talk it over again to decide what to do here. 4:03 on the game clock.
What you like to see is that Allen, despite getting up favoring a leg at first, is going to be able to stay in this game, because the last thing you'd want to see is on an aggressive play like that, a guy get knocked out.
Referees deciding what they're going to do here in terms of the penalty assessed. Of course, it's going to be a 10-yard penalty.
Flagrant foul.
And it's just given a regular flagrant, so that's going to mean it's going to be a 20-yard penalty. So they're going to move it up another 10 on the flagrant. And I think that's the right call by the referees.
We'll go against Travis Catrone and give Raleigh, who is moments ago dancing with the devil in the back of their own end zone, pretty good positioning here as we roll under 4 minutes to play.
Great strike cut from Green. Green looking
Wow,
cross
the hammer.
field with the hammer, and it drops into the bucket. And Raleigh extends the lead to 6.
Charlie Munoz with the score.
Charlie Munoz getting in on the action, and this hammer is very impressive. Another look at it. Raleigh they've done a little bit of everything well tonight. Great fake, drops the hammer. Munoz, great awareness. I'm just impressed with the field vision for a lot of these Raleigh handlers tonight.
Can't say it enough. Again, we see Raleigh scoring on the weak side of the field, and Jacksonville has just overcommitted to the open side, and it's left open a lot of hammers and blades, cross-field throws, and they have scored a lot of their points in the second half using that method of attack.
If it was just at this point in the game, you'd say, well, they're down a couple of goals and they're trying to force a turnover, and that's why they're being over-aggressive. But, as you said, Charlie, it's been kind of the state of the defense for the majority of the night for the Cannons.
Throw floats out into space. Now sent up the field. Great defensive effort on the other side from Danny Schmidt. He gets the block. And that might do it here as time continues to tick off the clock. Raleigh in no hurry here as they walk to this disc. 6-goal lead. Just over 3 minutes to go.
Should note that Misha Freisteiner has returned for Jacksonville, but he does not look quite the same. He is out there noticeably limping, and you saw a deep shot that he was not at the receiving end of, or at least attempted to be at the receiving end of, because I just don't think he can get down there right now.
Raleigh's offense continuing to impress. Now a blading backhand. It is going to be caught for the score.
Pouring it on now, Jeff Nordgren.
Nordgren having a great game. And this crowd here in Jacksonville is quiet.
They stunned, I would say. I mean, we've seen how many, we outlined it in the open, of these games that have come down to the wire here as of late. And this one, credit a Raleigh team that's shorthanded for coming out and getting it done.
And I want to go back to that play that was ruled an incompletion when it was trying to toe the line on the huck from Lay. Let's take a look here. We see Lay catch the strike cut, and he sends us out. I'm going to slow it down. And you see he never reestablishes position in bounds. He kind of jumps from out of bounds back into play, and you can't
about
do
1
that.
foot.
So the refs nailed it. They've done a great job tonight, this crew.
Well done. Outside of the signals, we got to work on them with that.
That's true.
Cannons would just like to finish this one out strong at this point. You're trailing by 7, 2.5 left. I mean, while it's not completely over, you just want to be able to put together a couple of good offensive and defensive possessions at the minimum here to take some good feelings into next week.
Yeah, and you don't want to see anything. We saw the flagrant foul a couple points ago, and you don't want to get frustrated and do something you're going to regret. Offense here working. 2 minutes to go here. Oh, nearly layout D for the Flyers. Now the hammer. This sailing to the back line. Toes the line.
Wow.
And makes the catch. Great play at the back of the end zone. Let's take another look at that one.
This deserves a second look. The crossfield hammer taking a page out of the Raleigh playbook to score this one. And you have to give a ton of credit to that was Jordan Goosen that was able to come down with that one, and just the presence of mind to be able to know exactly where he was, to keep the feet in, tap the toes, and finish that one.
Take another look just real quick.
We've seen some good goals here tonight, and this is right up there with them.
And we'll have to take a look at it a little bit later as the play resumes. Raleigh offense can seal the game here with a score. 6-point lead. Not much they could do to give this game away, to be honest. And it's just really been an efficient performance. And great job of taking what Jacksonville is giving them.
Pad stats now.
An easy assist there for Brian Casey as they tack on another one, and Helton gets a goal.
4 tonight, scored by Helton.
7-point lead for Raleigh. Minute and a half to go here in the game. And Jacksonville, good team, but clearly I think a step behind Raleigh so far. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board a little bit and figure out, watch the tape, see what they can do to improve on things like just getting takeaways, but also being efficient with their D-line.
It was a good measuring stick at this point in the year. It's still early. Mentioned there's only 14 games, so every game matters a lot. But you'd rather have something like this happen early enough in the season where you can correct it rather than late and maybe cost you a chance at the playoffs. And there's still plenty of firepower on this Jacksonville offense as well that, didn't quite get in a rhythm. And tonight, good to see Jakeem Polk back out there, by the way.
Disc with Sullivan. He finds Lay. Lay looking to Polk. Polk lays out again. Can't come up with it a second time.
Every time he lays out, I'm surprised by two things: that he doesn't come down with it if he doesn't, and that he doesn't somehow get injured if he doesn't do that. That broke every bone in my arm watching him lay out for that one.
Double team from Jacksonville. Schmidt with it. Now another big flick huck from Raleigh. Beautiful. Not quite into the end zone. And as defense doesn't catch up, they're able to get the score. Josh Hartzog gets in there. 25-17 Raleigh.
Jacksonville just getting a little lax now on the back end, allowing guys to streak back behind them. But it's the waning moments of a game in which Raleigh's going to win. They're keeping the pedal to the metal, and you're kind of counting down if you're on the other side, saying we're ready to go lick our wounds and gather ourselves and get ready for next week.
And again, it's so impressive to see Raleigh looking as good as they are while missing some of their best players. I really expected them to struggle a little bit, especially without Nethercutt out there on offense.
He was the #1 touches guy for the team coming into tonight, and they have been really very, very efficient.
But you think about adding Helton to the offense and moving Justin Allen to the defense. That is looking like a A+ move so far. And I know this is just one game, but Allen at times can be a little turnover prone on offense as the clock winds down here in the game.
He's been tremendous all over the field tonight, though.
All over the field, and just really an integral part of the team and really doing all the right things tonight. Has made almost no mistakes. Big pulls as we see Jacksonville score as time expires. And that will do it. That's your final. Raleigh takes it over Jacksonville here on the road, 25-18.
A game that lived up to the hype in that first half, back and forth affair, and then after that really turned into, I would almost say, a coming out party for this Raleigh Flyers bunch as they were able to show that we are one of the top teams in this league. We're 3-1 now. We can go on the road and match up against a pretty good team and take control if we need to. Efficient on offense, opportunistic on defense. Really impressive win tonight for Raleigh.
As the two teams line up, we will sign off. Thanks so much for joining us. This was the AUDL Extra presented by UltiWorld. For Scott Manzi and our entire crew, thanks so much. I'm Charlie Eisenhood. Final score here in Jacksonville, Raleigh 25, Jacksonville 18. We'll see you next time.